Good morning, everyone. For those that don't know me, I am the Spark, and I've had that name. I named myself when AOL first came out. I said, you know what? I am a creator. I like to get things started, and that's just a great name for me because I'm usually a first mover in coming up with new concepts, new ideas, new just new stuff, right? So I'm a creator, okay? I'm the spark. And matter of fact, anybody else that has the name the spark, if you want to start like a debate and like see if they'll want to keep the name after talking to me, I mean, I find that very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I am the spark, there's no question about it. Now, why are we here today? Well, we're going to be talking about myself and some miracles. I'm going to, ease you guys into it a little bit. I'm just going to tell you a little bit, a story here, a story there, and some backstory so you get a little bit about the spark, so you understand who I am and this and that. So, when I was 6 months old, okay, I started talking full sentences. All right. So, you know, my mom said I was pointing at things and saying, "What's that? What's that?" and everything like that. So I was actually pointing at everything and being very aggressive about it. So I found that very interesting. I said, "Mom, why didn't you videotape me?" But they didn't have videos back in 1982. They just didn't have that, you know, capacity like we do now with our phones, and we can videotape everything with no problem. But 1982 was a different story. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. So when I was 8 years old, all right, uh, I was sitting. They said I was dyslexic. I don't know about that. I refused to read and write. I remember doing that. Now, they sent me to a lesser school to learn how to read, right? So, my teacher, it was strange. So, they bribed me with chicken nuggets every day to learn how to read and write. You see, I was gonna make a point. So here I am, 8 years old, wanting to prove to them, wanting to prove to everyone that I didn't need to read and write, and I would do better than they did in life. So, you got to ask yourself, why did I do that, right? Think about that for a minute. Why would an 8-year-old refuse to read and write? Huh? Why? It's very fascinating. So, I wasn't slow, right? So, okay, so I'll just point out to you how smart I was. So the first week I get over there at the new school, um, you know, they had popcorn day on Friday, okay? And they typically sold the popcorn for 25 cents a box. That's a full box, like a full box. When I say full box, I mean a good sized box of popcorn, okay? Not small, okay? So, I mean, this is back in the day, okay? So, I went up to the lunch lady after lunch. And I mean, they must have just liked to sit there and stuff boxes of popcorn to pass the time because they're getting paid by the hour, right? So they packed a lot of popcorn. I mean, there was like 30 boxes of, leftover popcorn. I mean, let's put it this way. One of the garbage bags that they had, I filled it all the way up to the brim. And no, I didn't pay 25 cents a box for it. I paid more like $2 for 30 boxes of popcorn, okay? So, all right. So, why did I do this? Why did I do this? Because I knew I was going to be able to sell it to the aftercare, okay? Now, I still got on the bus, okay? And they dropped me off at the school I used to go to, right? So I could stay in touch with the kids from the other school, of course. And that's, closer to where my mom could pick me up from work. So, I'll never forget this. I'm getting on the bus with this big old bag, and she's looking right at me saying, "What in the tarnation you got there, son?" I said, "It's just popcorn. Don't worry about it. Just drive." So I get to the other school, right? 8 years old. And, it's pizza day at the other school, okay? It costs $1.25 for lunch, all right? So everybody gets a $5 bill from their parents for lunch, right? And everybody got pizza. So, of course, everybody got cash on Friday, right? Perfect storm here, perfect storm. So then, plus the aftercare ladies really didn't pay close attention to me. So guess what? It's movie day on Friday, right? Wow. what an awesome combination. So it's movie day on Friday. Now I didn't tell anybody about anything. I had this big plastic bag, didn't tell anybody what was in it. When we sat down to watch the movie, you know what I mean? I waited till the ladies, went about their business because, they're not paying attention to the kids because the kids are paying attention to the movie. So they're going about their business. When they go about their business is when I went about my business, okay? So I took out a box of popcorn and then I started eating it. I didn't ask nobody nothing. I didn't say nothing to nobody. I started eating the popcorn. Okay? This popcorn was great. It smelled great. Matter of fact, some of the best popcorn out there, for sure. So, everybody could smell it, right? And they're hearing my mouth crunch up and down, and I'm smacking as I'm eating the popcorn, I'm just letting it fly, right? So, of course, the kids, they start coming up to me. I'm like, what do you need? What do you want? Well, we want, popcorn. Yeah. Movie time? Yeah. I said, really? You want some? That's interesting. What's going to cost you $1? And they're like, that's no problem. I got that. Here's $1. All right. Moving right along. I sold all 30 boxes of popcorn every Friday for months. And then my mom gets the call, okay? Now, I hadn't told her about nothing. I didn't tell nobody nothing. Nobody knew nothing about nothing, all right? Because I didn't tell nobody. I sat there and made my money. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that what a real boss does? Yeah. So I didn't need your reading and writing, did I? Look at me. I'm over here making thousands of percent on money, and I didn't even box the popcorn. It was already made for me, right? So I'm sitting there. There's a new aftercare lady, and she just happened to take a special attention to like the movie or something like that, and something happened where she found out I was selling it. So she was upset because I was making more money than she was that afternoon. So she was jealous of me. All right? So what'd she do? She calls my mom up and she goes, "Excuse me, but your son here, you need to tell him to stop bringing popcorn into school." Okay? I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, you people, like, can't just let a guy get ahead. You know what I mean? You just can't let a man do his thing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, at the time, at 8 years old, my best friend was my teacher. Yeah, I went to lunch with the teacher, talked to the teacher, and everything like that. I couldn't relate to the kids, cause I'm light years beyond. I'm the one telling them, no, you're doing it wrong. That's not right. But I went way over their heads too. But that's okay. That's okay. We're here today. I lost the gluttony, okay? I gave in the sin. Okay? I gave in the gluttony. Right? That's what that is. I mean, I love chicken nuggets. That was my thing. I mean, that was like eating gourmet steak, $100 steak or whatever now. That's what that was. Yeah, I mean, it was more than that. And to me, chicken nuggets were so addicting. And then I was the only one. I was eating like a king, right? Eating like a king every day. So how can I turn down and then say no to reading, right? Yeah, I mean, how could I do that? I really couldn't. I really couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I couldn't turn it down. I wish I had. Because I'd be a lot more further ahead than I am now. And you're saying, what do you mean by that? Because we sit there, we don't communicate with each other, we don't communicate with other people, we don't tell stories, we don't, make each other happy, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to make each other happy. We're supposed to do things together, not apart. I mean, look at the way Jesus lived, right? The way Jesus, he lived, he had a whole bunch of people following him around. What? 15, 20 people at least, right? With the girls and the guys, it was like 20 people. Well, that makes things interesting. That makes it entertaining. That makes it more fun. Now they're doing plays, they're doing, if you watch The Chosen, you see them doing plays and stuff, and they're having fun. Yeah, and they're actually learning something. And they want to make each other laugh. They want to make it, you know what I mean? They want to, love each other. Loving is what it's all about, right? So we sit there and read and write to ourselves and entertain ourselves for what? It's no fun unless I'm entertaining you guys. Like, I don't have any fun doing things to myself, by myself, for myself. I get nothing out of it. But if I can change the world, if I can change your perception of reality, the way it is, the way the world works, is the way you want it to work. It's not the way it is. The way it is isn't right. If it was right, do you think I would have been telling her, no, I don't want to read and write at 8 years old? No. I don't need reading and writing. Do I? No. Because, memory's important. Yeah, you wonder why people get Alzheimer's? Because they're not remembering things for people and telling people things. Right? I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why you want to do things a little differently than the way they do them now. Right? I mean, think about it. My 8-year-old self was probably a pretty smart. Matter of fact, I think I was a lot smarter when I was 8 than I am now. And you're looking at me like, oh, how's he say that? How can you say that? Because I was right at 8 years old. I don't need to read and write. I don't need any of that. I just do videos. Videos are way more telling than any book. All right? Aren't they? Yeah, they are. So can we get past me being 8 years old? And yeah, what a crazy time it was. But you know, I don't know too many 8 years olds taking $2 and turning it into 30 every week. Do you? I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. All right. Now, should I tell another story today or should we leave it at that? You know, I mean, that's a good one to start with. We'll just leave it there for now. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. You know, my popcorn story. Yeah, that's my boss story. You know, it's like, who's boss around here? Well, probably me. What says so? Data and witness data by everybody. So I ain't making things up. No, I'm not going to make anything up. Everything I talk about is stuff that happened. Okay? Stuff that happened and then people witness the stuff. Okay? So we'll just go from there. But should I go to another story today? I don't know. But anyways, what has me talking to you guys about things? Why am I talking about myself? Well, why is it important? Well, I've gotten a few miracles happen. Now, one of these miracles is, wow, I got a cross on my leg, right? Around last Easter, after last Easter, it was a year before this Easter, okay? I got it on the 19th at 8:05 p.m. is when I took the video. All right, which I will post the video on my IG so you guys can all see it and see the cross on my leg. So it was a rash. I got a rash about 2 weeks after I read Cain and Abel. 2 weeks after I read Cain and Abel in the Bible. Now, I just started reading the Bible for the first time, okay? And when I read the Bible, I read it out loud. Because guess what? It's the spoken word. You're supposed to speak it, right? Yeah. They don't tell you that, but I will. All right, so I think it's way more effective when you read out loud, okay? Now, you know, where do we go from here? Well, we got this little book called the Ephesians, and I'm going to read this to you today. And yeah, I mean, I got that cross. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild? Isn't that remarkable? Now, what really makes it remarkable, what really brings it home, what really sends a signal is the fact that the Bible, okay, the Bible keeps talking about it at least 15 or 20 times, mentions it, he who hath an ear, okay? So if you take half and turn it into half, it kind of sounds the same, don't it? It does, right? And then on top of that, it's talking about one ear. He who hath an ear, right? In the second Revelation, right? And then it says, and depending on the translation, depending on the book, it says the one that has an ear, or something like that. So it's going to talk, the Spirit talk to the churches, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I can't hear out of it. There's no hole in the ear. Okay? All right. Now I want you to think about this for a minute. I'm not saying this to brag or nothing. I'm not saying any of this to brag. Man, this is all to glorify God. This has nothing to do with me. Okay? Everything I say and do has to do with God. Okay? All right. So, think about this for a minute. I'm probably the best looking one-eared guy on the planet. I know that sounds funny. Yeah, it is. It's funny. It's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. All right? Because it's significant. I had a girl the other day when I said it. She goes, "You're being boastful. You shouldn't do that." I said, "No, it has nothing to do with being boastful. It has to do with significance, right? Because everything is significant. Everything has significance or whatever, right? And then you guys know that 2,000 years are up, right? So after 2,000 years, we're supposed to be having what? 2,000 years of rest, right? Yeah, that's what's supposed to come. Whatever. So, I mean, look, I graduated in the year 2000, right? That's when I graduated, right? Okay, that's cool. And then, there's the fact that, let's see, we'll just talk about this for a minute. The miracles I'm going to post on my Spark is Lit page. So I'm going to post the cross and the video of the cross on my page. And then I'm also going to post where I was in Ibiza and my head got twice the size in 4 pictures. It was like 4 different size heads, but it was like the same picture. So that's considered shape-shifting, all right? Now, shape-shifting, I looked it up, can only be performed by an angel or something like that. Now, not a fallen angel. They all lost those abilities when they came to Earth, all right? So, how much fun is that, right? How much fun is that? So we're just talking about different things here. So I'm going to post both those things on my Spark is Lit IG page so everybody can go and look at that. All right. And then, before I read Ephesians, and I think I'm going to take a break here. And, but start to check it out. So, for instance, he who hath an ear, to give you some background, if you go to all the parables, all right, in the Bible, it'll talk about like the fact that raising crops 100-fold and all that. I just happen to have a fertilizer in my name that for at least 10 years now that I've been able to double the yield in crops and do things of that nature. And I save the citrus industry from dying, all that wonderful stuff. But that's in the Bible. Yeah. I didn't make any money on it. I got credit in the Bible. Now, I also went to the churches in 2010 with the largest financial instrument, all right, for the churches. The diocese, got to have me down because I was part of the presentation to the churches for the largest financial instrument that they've ever seen. Now, it says I was going to talk to the churches in Second Revelation, which I already have. And I'm trying to do it again. We'll see. But I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not going to let anybody hold me back. And reading Ephesians is very, very important. And I'll explain why in the next video. We'll talk more about it. But I'm having fun. We're having fun this morning, and I'm looking forward to reading to you guys the entire Bible, all 66 books, and let you guys decide. With all the stuff that I talk to you about and everything, you can decide if I'm the guy that's the guy that's he who hath an ear. But I just found out. I had somebody point it out to me. Because I hadn't read the Bible, so I didn't know anything about it. And then somebody told me about it. I saw it. I saw where it said it, and I'm like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's got to be me or something, Who else is going to be on the Spark? Like, huh? This is wild. This is wild. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it here. And, I'm going to pick up with you in my next video, reading from the Bible. Because I needed to do a little bit of an introduction to myself. And I didn't even go past 8 years old. I'm just leaving it there for now. That's something fun to think about. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, so we'll just leave it there for now. And then, in future videos, we'll start talking to you. I'll talk to you more about more miracles and things that have happened to me recently. But ever since I repented last March, not this March, but the March before that, things have been getting a little crazy for me. Yeah. Been having experiences, one after the other. So, here I am. Alright? And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make this fun. We're gonna make this the most fun experience ever, because it's gonna be where we're gonna talk about the Bible. You guys will be able to talk to me, text, put it in the YouTube channel, ask questions. I'll even post videos if they're good. Of you talking to me or whatever, and having a conversation. We can do that too. I'm not gonna be the one to take all the spotlight here. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to give the spotlight to God. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't. But it does have everything to do with me at the same time. So I'm just trying to figure it out, Am I that guy? Am I the guy who has it? You guys tell me, huh? I don't know. Other people have said it to me. I don't know. So, we'll just keep going. And when I start reading the Bible to you, just tell me how good you feel. I just want to know. I want to know how you feel. Do you feel better? And I want you to post it. I don't want you to be shy. Don't be shy about it. I want everybody responding. I don't want just one person. I want all of you. All right? All of you to respond and say, how do you feel? Do you feel better when I get done reading, these books out of the Bible? Do you start feeling better? I want to know, okay? And everybody else needs to know, okay? So, if everybody starts to know, then you get in the know, then everybody starts to know. Then you get an all-knowing perception of reality. Oh, wow, that's never been done before. They don't even let you talk. No, none of them do. I'm giving you the floor and say, hey, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from all of you. Not one, all. Post, talk, say something. If you don't like me, say it. I'll be fine with it. I'll be entertained by it. I don't expect everybody to like me. I know I'm going to irritate people. I always irritate the demons. Get some. Spark up.